All right, so we're back. This is the second episode of Pre-Workout Talks, and I have a very special guest this time. We actually have budget for a guest. We have the one and only Alex Eubank.
What's up? What's up? Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, well, so we find ourselves in LA. We're actually in the YoungLa gym. We're in a little studio at the far end of the gym. What do we know about Alex, right?
Yeah.
The hair,
Yeah.
the physique, Christianity,
Yep.
cars.
Yep. that's about it. I like gaming a little bit. I don't know. I like playing video games.
Yeah, more recently, you know, there's you're working on some other things. We'll touch on that. But you're an OG in the fitness space.
Yeah.
You've done super well for yourself. How old are you now?
24.
24. I was going to say you started out at the age of 17. I'm going to say
in the social media world, I think it was. I posted my first workout video. I used to post like gaming, and then after the gaming didn't work, I used to explore abandoned places with one of my friends who he did YouTube, and he would explore these abandoned places. I posted a few of those on my OG channel, which you can still see. And then my first fitness video, I think, was November of 2019. Okay. So I would have been 19 when I started fitness YouTube, and then I was 20 when I dropped out of college, when I like started like dropping workout programs. And then 20 when I got the initial RYSE sponsorship. I
was going to say, taking it back to where we met, back at RYSE.
And then 2021 we moved to Texas for 2 months for that RYSE house thing.
So I think, like, from a business perspective, you've done really well for yourself.
Yeah.
You started out, obviously you had some sponsorships in the beginning, supplements, clothing, and then you started your own brand, Elysium.
Yeah, which did great.
Yeah.
Yeah, did great.
I mean, from a young age, did you have support, mentorship? Like, how did you come about establishing these today, like, thriving businesses?
Yeah, I'd say like my dad and my manager Steve. So Steve, he's not like your typical manager. I'm sure you know. Do you know Steve?
I'm
so he's
Steve,
like, I used to clean cars for him. He worked for my dad at the Honda dealership, and then I used to detail cars at this classic car shop for Steve. He's just always been good at negotiating. So he kind of was the one who kind of pushed me to start filming the shit. And then once I started doing, like, getting the sponsors, I had him negotiate them for me. And then between him and my dad, they kind of had the ideas to start doing stuff like the merch and whatnot. So that's kind of how Elysium, it started as like Alex Eubank merch. Elysium's been like my overtime biggest earner probably overall since I started. I think it's done like 4.5 million or something in gross, which was like, cause I saw a lot of these people, they would do like social media and promote their code or whatnot, and like it's good money. Like people get good money from it, you know what I mean? But to me, it was like, you gotta maximize it while you're popping. So I was like, and seeing like, I always thought like, yo, if these clothing companies can pay like this much, they gotta have crazy margins. So then that's when we started looking into the whole merch thing, and then like.
You've had that a while now, right?
Yeah.
Probably 3 years?
Yeah, about 3 years, I think. Yeah. But it started in my dad's basement. We literally would like hand press all the designs.
Oh, for real?
Initially, yeah, for the longest time. And then we bought a warehouse and then moved everything kind of over into that. But yeah, no, that stuff was crazy. When we were like peak with that, oh my goodness, I've never, like, just seeing the amount of boxes that we'd have to unload. We really, like, I took a big risk on it a few times, like putting a shit ton of money out, like not knowing when it was gonna come back. It all came back though, and it's like 70% plus margin, so it's all good. Like, I gave my dad percentage of the brand and my manager, and
I mean, it was a very smart business move. Yeah. Like, I have obviously my merch, but it's very Noel Dazel, right? It's very me, so I can't have like other athletes repping Dazel. But with Elysium, it's kind of more vanilla, and you can have other athletes still repping Elysium.
I think it's making, like, trying to make the distincting it from like merch to like a clothing brand thing. Yeah. So I feel like that's like a big thing you have to kind of do.
And one thing I was always curious about is the name. How did the name come about?
I remember being in the farthest memory I could think. I was in a marketing class, I think, in high school. And I remember thinking, like, I always wanted to do some type of brand, and I just thought of Elysium. I don't know. I think I always have been into like Greek mythology growing up. I loved like ancient Greece and like ancient Rome, ancient Sparta, all that. And Elysium was like their heaven. It was like, where heroes, if they died like heroically, they would go to like the Elysian Fields or Elysium. And I always thought it just rolled off the tongue nice. You know what I mean? It sounded cool.
So very interesting you brought that up, because I mean, you're considered like to have a very strong Greek god mythology aesthetic,
that's
right?
What I initially used to call myself, like the Greek god.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's talk about physique. you have been known for like aesthetic maxing for the longest of time.
Yeah.
Can I use that term? Is that still cool?
Yeah, that was a good one. I haven't heard that one yet. That was a good one though, aesthetic maxing.
And I think to some extent you've had to kind of control, because obviously you got very good genetics, but you've had to control like a lot of your growth because you're constantly just in shape, looking shredded and conditioned all the time.
For social media, yeah.
For social media, yeah. So what are like physique goals for you? Where to from here?
I would love to add 10 pounds of like lean tissue to my physique. If I could stay 10% body fat, to me, I think is like the perfect balance of like being a sustainable body fat where you still look pretty sick, like abs and veins, but like with 10 more pounds. So if I could be like 180 pounds, 180-ish at 10%, I'd be good. Because usually when I'm 10%, I'm like 170. So if I could be 180 at that, I'd be cool with that. I don't care about being like super crazy big. I think with my like proportions, when I'm lean and I have like a good pump, I look like I weigh 10 pounds already more than people know I do. Like, really,
I mean, you look good against Togi.
Yeah, that's what people were saying.
And Togi looked good against Larry Wheels.
Yeah,
so I'm like, holy shit, how big is Alex?
People were hyping me up on that. I was like, yo, I feel great about myself right now. It's crazy because like people always think too, like that I have like this weird diet, and like I have like not the worst diet, but like I haven't tracked a single day really at macros in probably the last like year and a half. Like my training, I've never had like a training regimen. I kind of just like go in and do what I want. Train hard, obviously, but like I just don't like. I've never articulate. I'm not gonna lie. My genetics have like carried me quite a bit, like a long way.
Yeah.
Back when I really was dialed in on social media, though, I would say like I was tracking my macros and I was like starving myself low key to stay shredded so long. That's when I got my testosterone checked actually in LA at Brad's clinic. And I was at my lowest ever was 215.
215.
Yeah, and then I did that bunch of in-body scans. I know they're not like crazy accurate, but it said my body fat was like 5% or 6% or something crazy. Which I know it wasn't that. It was probably closer to like 8 in my leanest. But yeah, 215 test was crazy.
That's low.
I felt that too.
That's low.
No flex drive, no nothing. Terrible.
Yeah, I was 261 and I felt it, bro.
Yeah.
It affected me quite
It's not
badly.
good.
Yeah.
The brain fog.
So this brings us on to another topic. Yeah. There's been a lot of controversy around your natty status.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you have just a phenomenal physique. You're always in shape. Lifetime natty.
Yeah. Until, I mean, are we going to talk about it? Yeah.
I think this is the segue.
Yeah. Until last Wednesday. What's today? Today is October 9th. Yeah, it's been a week. Dude. I've pinned myself twice. So
this is a big deal.
It's big.
I'm honored you're talking about this. So Alex, lifetime natty. There's been a lot of speculations.
Yeah.
Now you've finally hopped on.
Yeah, and I can say now because like people, whoever like doubted that beforehand, who thought like Greg thought I was on gear in high school when I was like 190 or taking some, like everyone thinks of like taking some shit at some point, but like now I think they'll actually see because like now that I'm telling when I'm starting, like people will be able to track. They'll see I'm gonna get bigger. I know I'm gonna get bigger. Like I'm gonna dial my shit and I'm taking stuff like I'm gonna get bigger. I'm not gonna become like a trench win or like something. I don't wanna be like crazy dumb, like swole. Like I wanna look still aesthetic. Like I said, 10 pounds of muscle tissue would be great to me. I think that would go a long way for me. But before like people I would never understand because they would be like, they would say I'm a fake natty, but then they would say like, yo, why hasn't your physique changed in the last 3 to 4 years? And be like, I don't know, maybe because I'm natural and I've been training for like 7-8 years naturally. Maybe my physique's not gonna change like crazy. I don't know. But now it's gonna change for sure. And I'm excited to show people that for sure.
Big deal, yeah. So you're on TRT.
Yeah.
Okay. Where to from here? Like, is competing a consideration?
I wouldn't say I'm like opposed to it. It's definitely not my main reason. Honestly, my main reason for wanting to hop on in the first place was just because like my body's gotten so used to being at such a low level, I feel like naturally for so long. And when I hear about people who are on TRT, like say like how good they feel, it's like completely different than what like I feel. So I'm like, if I've been operating at this baseline, like I feel like I owe it to myself. I would love to feel better in a lot of different areas of my life. So like if I can have like less brain fog and just more energy and better sleep and all the things that come with having higher
recovery,
tests. Yeah, like especially if it's like my field and like my work, like I don't see an issue doing it, especially when I can do it with the available resources I have to do it extremely healthy. And like there's really little to no risk involved. I don't see there being an issue. I don't have like an addictive personality. I'm not gonna be unhealthy about it. I'm like a hypochondriac as it is. So like my reason was I wanna be lean and be able to stay lean while feeling like a man, like while feeling good, still having high testosterone. Because usually when you're natural and you have to get that lean, you lose it. Test starts low. Like that's just naturally what happens. So like, I didn't want to do that again.
I think the landscape is changing. You know, like I think there's a lot of people out there romanticizing testosterone or steroids. I know I made mistakes when I started out. I got on it far too soon. What advice would you have for someone that's kind of toying with the idea?
Yeah. Well, we live in a society now where everyone like wants shit immediately. Like no one likes to work for the
instant gratification.
Yeah, which is like such a big issue. I've seen so many of like guys in other industries that I've met or like college kids, and like they're all on shit. Like I just went to like Alabama for last weekend, and the amount of kids I found out that were like on gear, you would never even think they were on gear or SARMs or something. Like it's actually sad. It's like, wow, you're like actually, like to me, like you're an actual like loser. Like you need help. Like that shit's embarrassing as hell. I agree with like having like I think you need to have like 3 to 4 years of like genuine, authentic like training under your belt. Like know what you're doing, and then also have a reason to do it. Like, are you doing it because you think it's gonna blow you up on social media? If you're doing it for that, you're an idiot. You're gonna make no money. You're gonna be broke. So stay in school or something, and don't hop on gear just for that. If you're doing it for like competing, and like you actually have been competing, like you've been competing naturally, and you want to take it to the next level, then do it. I wouldn't say like just go start taking steroids right away because you think you're gonna be like the next C-bomb. That's just like a delusion. You're delusional at that point. Like a lot of people think they're gonna be the next C-bomb. They're delusional. I don't mean that like a negative way. It's just like I'm being like real. Like do the shit naturally first, and then once you've, worked for your fruit, like you've shown that you actually like can do it, then like I think you take it to the next level. Or if like I don't know what other, or if you actually, some people just naturally have low ass testosterone.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be forced to live like that. Like if your shit's naturally mad low and like you're like a young male in your young 20s and like your sex drive's cooked, you're getting bad sleep, you have brain fog, you shouldn't have to live like that. So to me, I think there's like a health aspect of like just physically feeling and operating better, even regardless if you get bigger or whatever.
Just to be a optimal
human being, male.
Functional.
But no, a lot of these college kids, dude, they just like think it's gonna like get them jacked or like make it easier to like crash out on the weekends, drink, party, and then have a good. It's so stupid. These kids are idiots.
Exactly. I talk about this, and I think a lot of people could say that it's hypocritical of me, but I think it just comes with age and maturity. Because I would have done things differently. I really would have. You're an OG in the space, as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
More recently, you're trading. Like, it seems like these aren't like side quests. This is going more mainstream.
Yeah.
What does the future of social media for Alex look like?
Yeah, so I've been talking about like my concerns with the fitness industry for a while now. I was just talking to Steve about it outside when I first got here, like, because we were talking about like the old days back when I'll come out to LA and I'd hang with Brad, and like back then, like the industry was like, it seemed like it was a lot more positive. Everyone talked to each other, knew each other. It was like, it was fun. It was enjoyable. It's had a big switch in like the last year or so. Yeah. I don't know if you can agree with that. To me, I
would have to say, I actually had this conversation the other day too. It's in a very different space. Like,
it's weird.
It was at its peak 2021, 2022, just coming like out of the pandemic. And it's just in a lot more hostile environment.
It's
lately,
weird, bro. It's weird. It's like, if I was to tell you the #1 trending fitness influencer right now, I love him to death. No, but like it's funny. I would say like Togi, right?
Yeah.
Who's not even, it's like his whole thing is like degen gambling, hella steroids, right?
Yeah.
I love him to death. This is not even me shit talking to him. I literally was on the phone with him yesterday. It's just like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry for cussing. Like, what does like the industry come to? Like the fact that that's like what is so appealing now. So for me, I'm not stupid, and I'm business oriented. I'm gonna pivot. You know what I mean? I'm trying to pivot. I'm seeing where it's going, and it's not something. So I'm pivoting mine to try and do more mainstream. Like a lot of people who grew up watching me back when I was 20, and they were probably like 16, 15. Yeah. They're getting into college now. People, they're more concerned with either making money,
100%.
or you got to kind of like appeal to that audience now too. So for me, it's like making more money, teach people how to make money in a sense is like I see as a good avenue to make me more money. And then 2 is getting and collabing with other industries. So like even being in Nashville, hanging around the guys I've been hanging around, like whole different industry, whole different space. And to me, that's fun. I like more like the lifestyle content, the more mainstream, not having to force myself to go grab my camera and go to the gym every day. Like that to me, like it's like more of work now. I never wanted something to feel like work. Working out will always be like a staple in my entire life. I'll include it in everything. Yeah. But I feel like back where, I don't know, you have to change with your audience. I can't just stay doing the same shit, especially if I can see where it's going. I'm not stupid enough to keep going until it dies. You gotta pivot.
Yeah, so. I mean, again, I take my hat off. Like, I've been in this industry, and we talk like social media, fitness, for quite some time as well, similar to yourself. And it's been a very interesting journey to kind of watch and observe. And there's a few people that have been able to sustain, yourself one of them. But very fortunately, my dear friend, my late dear friend Joe, I spent some time with him in the initial year of kind of blowing up and getting on to social media, and I always had concerns about how sustainable this was. You know, like there's been some stories about persons that have been able to actually retire off of social media, but it's still so new, you know,
not a lot
that I had my concerns. I mean, I had a software company, and was I prepared to abandon that to kind of go full-time social media when there were so many uncertainties, you know, and you have to treat it like a business. You have to evolve and adapt with time. And like you said, like even my audience, a lot of them were kind of 15, 16, 17. During the pandemic, kind of got them into fitness, and we've grown with that. One thing I admire is that you've been very transparent with social media, you know, the ups and the downs. Some of them took a toll on you. Are you okay if we talk about some of that?
I always love that.
I think more recently there was the whole Andrew Eubank thing, which was a very honest mistake, and then I think was just misconstrued. And the industry loves drama.
It's drama, bro. Yeah,
industry loves drama. And what sort of effect did this have on you?
Man, at first, like I thought it was funny because like I followed Sam. We would DM sometimes back and forth a little bit, but once I started seeing it become like. Seeing like, yo, people actually think there's like beef almost between us, and it started becoming, because he was such a lovable, likable guy. It was like, and I've been so relevant at the top of the industry for so long. It was like people wanted to see me like fall.
They prey on the downfall.
Yeah, and then people get on that train of it, and I'm like, I didn't feel like I deserved anything to do that. So it was killing me, because all I've been trying to do my whole life is like make a living out of it while providing value and helping people in a sense. Like I get a lot of fulfillment from like the faith thing and like helping people out with that or getting in the gym. So it was killing me, because I was like, I felt like I didn't deserve it at all, and everyone was just like wanting me to like fail and fall off, and like it was really messing me up like mentally. I even asked Sam one time. I asked if he could like in a video just like mention how like there's no beef, and I don't think he ever replied to me. I think he just left me on red, which I thought was fucked up, a low key. I don't care now, but it got so bad, bro. Like, and at that point, dude, I was getting out of like a really bad toxic relationship that was like mentally like abusive, low key. And it was just, everything was kind of on top of another, and it got really bad, bro. I was in Vegas at one point, and dude, because I have like a history of like mental health shit. I got like suicidal, and I like was gonna send my dad my bank login info because I was like suicidal that night. It was bad.
This was during that period?
Around, yeah. It got really dark for me. And then
people don't realize the effect of.
It's difficult. It's not even that. It's super isolating when like you become so like. I hate using the term famous, and like, you know, becoming like very wealthy and like famous at a young age. It becomes isolating because I've been like used by hella people, and I've lost hella friends and whatnot. So like, got out of that toxic relationship, and I went to I got so far from God at that time too, because I felt like everything was falling apart, and I was just like losing myself. I went on a trip to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I got an Airbnb by myself, and just spent 3 days there, not focusing on social media and spending time with God, and like really found God again. And like from then on, I was really good. Like I've been good. Like I was able to get away from finding my value in social media, and I stopped chasing after like the numbers and trying to like hold on to being relevant, and more so just like let shit flow. Like whatever happens, happens. But that was a rough period for me. People don't realize like how bad that period was for me at that point. Not only because of, it wasn't just the Sam thing, it was definitely part of it was a fucked up relationship. It was bad, too. That was really kind of destroying me. But yeah.
You pulled through it?
Yeah.
I think, I mean, within that as well, because like a lot of my content is just about kind of fitness and mental health.
Yeah.
There's encouragement in what you've been through.
Yeah.
And just putting yourself out there and being that transparent with people.
No, I love talking about it. Like people sometimes like, because I've posted so many videos where I naturally will talk about it, and I've like, especially about God, and I'll cry. People make fun like, oh, Alex cries all the time. And I don't care, bro. To me, it's like me being vulnerable with somebody, especially like someone who looks up to me, allows them to be vulnerable, because maybe that will be the thing that begins their healing. Because a lot of people, like, they stuff all this shit down. A lot of men do. They stuff it all down. But when they see someone like me, who's someone who like has status or whatnot, being open and not stuffing it down, letting it out, it might give them that extra push to do it. Like I made a life story video like 2-3 years ago on YouTube. It got like 1 million views, me going over my journey with God. The comments are crazy. It's just like makes me cry when I read them, because like me being vulnerable allows them to be vulnerable. And once they realize that they can be vulnerable is when healing can begin, right? That's like the way it has to start. So I don't know. But yeah, that whole process, bro, is like realizing that the one thing that I feel like God really spoke to me in those moments where I was struggling with the social media stuff was like that God, I swear, God like said to me, it was like that He was my first fan. Like God was my first fan. Like all these people, whatever, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, God was the OG in my life, right?
I remember that. And then there was some kickback about that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's anything. I feel like I can kick back at this point. But yeah, to see myself the way that God saw me back when I was in my living with my dad in my bedroom, just like I would have a Bible, I would pray on all my knees, and I like would pray for just like fulfillment and like purpose in life, and to see myself that God was there in that moment, and He did crazy stuff with my life. To see it as that, and any outside noise, I don't care about anymore. I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of hate for the whole testosterone thing, even. I will, because they're gonna say like, oh, he's a hypocrite. So I understand. I've spoken against it quite a bit. I've never spoken against TRT, but I've spoken against like heavy steroid usage for sure, because a lot of these kids will just go and take a shit ton without having any like health aspect to it. But I don't care anymore about what people say about me on social media. Like I kind of want more controversy now. I feel like, because I feel like it helps. I see now how it can help in a sense, rather than like if you see the controversy and you apply it to your own like self-worth and value, then it can mess you up. But if you don't let it do that, then like you're unstoppable, I feel like. So I'm at that point now. Like,
that's deep. I mean, like it's just watching you, because obviously I'm a lot older, and just kind of watching you. It's very like it to see you kind of grow up and mature as well. You know, just go through the stages of life. You know, it's been quite a journey for you, bro. Very impressive.
It's been
very impressive.
Dang, man, yeah, it's been crazy, dude. I'm blessed though. I'm so blessed.
Yeah. Some of the key factors we pointed out about Alex, I think we touched on a few of them, except the hair. Right? So these locks, I mean, a lot of people have tried to pull off this hairstyle. You have a very distinctive hairstyle. How attached are we to the look? I'm just very curious about the overall presence here of Alex.
Yeah, no, I don't think it'll ever go. I mean, like the main thing with me even hopping on gear, I'm like, bro, I cannot lose my hair. I was telling like all the people, like, so I've been prepping for like taking like hella hair nutritional stuff. Like I'm not about to lose my hair. I'll probably have it to like.
It's kind of part of your personality. Like I said, you think of Alex, and it's just like, I don't think people have the same impression of me and my hair. I hope not, because I don't have the best hair, but.
I think you think of like accent, bro, your accent.
Which I'm trying to hang on to as well. I've been told like I'm losing my accent. Not even purposefully. It's a representation it's part of me.
It's what people know, they think of. But yeah, this ain't going nowhere for sure. It's going, I'm keeping
what can we expect from Alex? Because we're talking about family already.
Yeah.
We're talking about your concerns over your swimmers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the most appropriate.
I gotta get the sperm bank going ASAP, bro.
So what does that mean? Are we looking at starting a family?
Like, dude, that's all I want. So I always tell people like my family was like messed up growing up really bad. I feel like I had a lot of experiences taken from me at a young age that I wish I could. I used to have anger issues in high school because whenever I would see like families at like resorts or beaches, I would get like angry. I was the only child. Like, my family was torched growing up between my mom and my dad. I never got to experience like like the sit down family dinners, Christmases, like that stuff. So when I would see it, I would get angry. So for me, my biggest like thing, honestly, why I've chased after like even making money my whole life was all I want out of everything. And I know this is all I want, and this is all I'm planning to have. Is just my own family that I can live with financially free, not have to work and can spend every single day of my living life with like my future wife and kids, and not have to ever worry about money ever, and just can like experience every moment with them, watch them grow up, not have to put them in daycare. I had to go to daycare all the time growing up. Like, I don't want none of that. To me, the family thing is all I want. That's the only reason why I've worked as hard as I have, is just so I can spend that money with them. And maybe a few cars too, but like, you know what I mean?
That's deep,
that's all I want, bro, I swear to you.
That low-key got me a little choked up, because like, I think it's exactly the same for me. I mean, my childhood family was, what's the correct term here? Dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And that was a major driving factor for me. A major driving factor was just to be financially well off, not even sustainable, financially well off, so that I can give my family, you know, kind of the childhood that I didn't have. And a lot of it does pivot around finances, but just a loving household as well.
Yeah.
So that's been a big driving factor for me.
Yeah,
We tend to forget about these things and lose sight of these things, but when you said that, it kind of just hit home for me. So.
Yeah. No, dude, that's like the most fulfilling. Like I always say, like fuck all the money. Like money does not mean like people. It's so funny. They'll like, when I have had my sad times, like how can you be sad when you have all this money and clout? I'm like, bro, you're such an idiot. Like it's such a dumb way to think. It's like drinking salt water. I say it as like, it's you might buy something that temporarily makes you like satisfied, but it honestly makes it worse after the fact if you're not grounded. For me, it's like being grounded in my faith, but I know that true, like ultimate fulfillment and satisfaction comes from a healthy relationship with God, your creator, and then also with the love that God extends through you that you can give to your family and friends. So like when you're living for someone that's not just yourself, that's when you have fulfillment, I feel like. So when I'm watching my own kids grow, or watching my wife, like it's loving someone so much that I'm living for them, not myself anymore. That's where I'm seeing where fulfillment will come into my life completely. So that's what I'm chasing after. I hope to get it within the next like,
I'm sure you will, bro.
2 to 3 years.
Stay hungry.
Yeah.
Stay hungry. To end this off, it's really been a pleasure talking to you. Like there's a lot more depth, and I mean that respectfully, but like it's really been a big eye opener for me, and it's really been an enjoyable conversation. There's a lot of depth, you know, to you, and a lot of the responses. If you could go back to younger Alex, what advice would you give younger Alex?
It's hard to say, because again, like I truly believe in the moment, like I always like use like issues in life that I face or challenges as like it's like a jigsaw puzzle that I'm trying to put together. And whenever I have like a thing that I don't want to happen in life happen to me, and I'm like trying to make the puzzle piece fit and it won't fit, and I'm like either cursing to God or wondering why this is happening to me, like after the event happens, I can look back and see how God took that piece and saw the bigger picture, and him being so infinite and me being finite was able to put that piece right where it needed to go. So I don't think I would even tell myself anything differently, because all the painful experiences that I've had, or like the trauma or issues, have like brought me to where I am now.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have learned those lessons or like faced those things unless I went through it again. So I don't think I would tell myself anything, because I had to learn all those things by whatever traumatic events. And like I really do see how God, like in moments where I really thought God was so far away and like hurting me or not loving me, how in those moments he was right there so close to me and loved me more than anything. And that he had to put me through those things, or else I wouldn't be where I am now. So I don't think I'll change anything or tell myself anything. He's got to learn for himself.
That's the thing. I mean, I always say like, I went through a lot of very challenging moments, and I wouldn't change anything. I would always say for myself, like, just take risks. You know,
that's a good one too.
The desire was there, but I kind of spoke myself out of a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, I think you can do that.
And which I don't think you did, because at the same age, I'm talking myself out of opportunities. Start this brand, do this. I think that's kind of the mindset that you have, and it goes to show in terms of a lot of the success that you've amounted to. I'm very glad we're part of the same team.
Love RYSE, man.
And it's just finally led us to this opportunity where we can sit down, teammates in RYSE, teammates in YoungLa. Like I said, it's really been a pleasure watching like your journey. I'm excited to see what you get up to next.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on here, bro.
Keep grinding, bro. Absolutely. We're gonna hit a workout though still.
Oh yeah.
Shoulders.
I'm down for shoulders.